Alright guys, how you guys doing today? Well, today we came across another very common problem that you may have experienced yourself. When you're taking off a MacBook Air display and you unplug the display cable connector, it goes okay. You unplug the eyesight cable, it comes out okay, hopefully. And then you come across your Wi-Fi antenna removal, and this happens to you. I'm not sure if you can see that. One has been removed. And this happens a lot when unplugging them from the airport card. A lot of times those connectors, if they're not removed correctly, they'll come right off. Today we're going to try to put the connector back on, and I'm going to give you a couple hints on how to do that. So let's go on over here to the microscope. You see there I already have the connector that's been removed, laying on the deck or my workstation there. Alright, so here you'll see the cable. Here's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be on there like that. And so you'll notice that this wire right here, let's see if I can get it in focus for you. The end pieces here, the wire, this is where the connector, this actually connects to the inside, right there in the center of that circle. So this should run all the way through and make contact with the middle piece here, because that's where your antenna plugs into. And so as you see on this antenna, the one that's intact, the wire or the cable runs all the way in, and so you have the wire that's underneath this connector here. So we're going to try to get that back in position so that we can get this replaced. And where did my end piece go? Alright. So let's see how we can do this easiest as possible. So we want to make sure that our wires are straight. We're not going to get caught on anything. We're trying to get it in the center. You see how that's going to be a little bit of a chore to do. So what I suggest is taking these wires, and we're going to put some solder on them to make this one solid piece. So hopefully that we can push those wires right up inside that connector. So we're just going to touch that up with some solder. Get some solder on our soldering iron here. Put a little bit of solder on it and add a little bit of flux to the wire too, to make sure it flows. It's not clumpy or anything. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Let's see how that fits. There it goes. Alright, it kind of gets snug as it gets pushed in there, because it's like a clamp, which is good. So we're wanting to push it in as far as possible. And you'll notice this portion of the cable, or the connector here, is clamped onto the cable. And what I've done is I've already opened up those parts of the cable, or the connector. And now we're going to, once we get that in place, we're going to clamp that down. I'll use a second pair of tweezers here. Squeeze that and clamp it in place. It's right on top of the cable. Okay, so we're good, but I'm not going to trust that that's completely snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some solder right here to this to make sure that this doesn't get yanked off again. First I'm going to add a little bit of flux, and we have some of the insulation wire around the outside that we're going to just solder that onto the connector. First I'm going to get some solder on my tip, like that. And then I'm just going to dab this with some solder. Just like that. And a little bit over here as well. Okay, so we should be good. We have that wire, you can see it going up through. Let me zoom in and see if I can get a better view of it. So you see how the wire there, right in there, is going through that little hole, and now it's going underneath this center connector. And what I've done is I've just added a little bit of solder here to the insulation of the cable and made it connect to the connector, so that that should help keep it snug and keep it from being yanked off again. So we should be good to go. Alright, so that's how we fix the common problem with these antennas. A lot of times they get ripped off, probably because what you need to be doing when you remove them is getting something like tweezers underneath and lifting it up gently, not pulling up on it by the cable. When you do that, yes, you're going to rip off the connector, and a lot of times it's just going to be a pain to fix. But hopefully, if this does happen to you, this video helps you figure out how to get that working. Make sure that you get the wire underneath that centerpiece so that we're making good contact and we're going to get a full signal like we should. So anyways, hope that helps. Hope you have a great day.